Back in the 80s, Tom Selleck was one of the most sought-after, bankable movie stars in Hollywood, a skilled actor with a signature mustache that men wished they had, and women wanted to play with. Selleck was always viewed as a man's man type actor, perfect for leading roles. So stay tuned and don't go away, because Tom Selleck has revealed just how little his Blue Bloods salary is compared to Magnum PI, plus some of the highest paid TV actors per episode. First up, why is Tom Selleck's Blue Bloods salary so different from his Magnum PI salary? We're about to find out. Tom Selleck portrays New York City Police Commissioner Frank Reagan in the hit series Blue Bloods. Selleck's paycheck for Blue Bloods is $200,000 per episode, but it was his lead role in Magnum PI from 1980 to 1988 that really catapulted him to stardom. Magnum PI followed the adventures of an ex-Navy officer who became a private detective in Hawaii, and the series was a huge hit in the 80s. Today, Selleck's net worth is approximately $45 million, and believe it or not, he was paid much more in the 1980s for his work on Magnum PI, raking in $500,000 per episode. Keep in mind, this was 40 years ago, and adjusted for inflation in today's economy, that would translate to $1.2 million per episode. This puts Selleck in the same league as Henry Cavill, who made $1 million per episode in The Witcher Season 2, Iron Man star Robert Downey Jr., who was paid $2 million per episode in the Sympathizer series, and Chris Pratt, who earned $1.4 million per episode on the Terminal List series. And let's not forget two of Hollywood's biggest leading ladies, Jennifer Aniston and Reese Witherspoon, who earned $2 million each per episode for Apple TV Plus's The Morning Show, which premiered back in 2019. What do you think of these kinds of salaries? Are they justifiable, or are they patently absurd? Share your thoughts in the comments section down below. Next up, who are the highest paid TV actors in Tinseltown today? Let's have a look. Coming in at number 10 is That 70s Show star Ashton Kutcher. Kutcher went on to replace Charlie Sheen in the 2.5 Men reboot, following Sheen's troubled departure. Apparently, Sheen's extracurricular activities became too much for series producers, and he was ultimately fired. In its prime, 2.5 Men was the most watched TV comedy in the US, with more than 15 million regular viewers. For his efforts, Kutcher was paid $811,000 per episode. Coming in at number 9 is Dexter star Michael C. Hall. Fans of the serial killer series Dexter were disappointed by the show's finale, which sent Dexter into the wilderness to become a lumberjack, and many found this to be just plain boring. No argument there. During an interview, Hall was asked how he felt about the show's conclusion, and he said probably sadness. But there was one thing that almost certainly turned Hall's frown upside down. He was paid $1,141,737 per episode. In 8th place is the cast of The Big Bang Theory. The original 5 stars of the CBS series, Kaley Cuoco, who played Penny, John Galecki, who played Leonard, Simon Helberg, who played Howard, Kunal Nayyar, who played Rajesh, and Jim Parsons as Sheldon were all paid in excess of $1 million per episode, adjusted for inflation. However, the group took a pay cut so that co-stars Mayim Bialik and Melissa Rauch, who play Amy and Bernadette respectively, could get a pay raise. Bialik and Rauch were only receiving $200,000 per episode prior to the pay raise. Up next, how much did the cast of Friends earn during the sitcom's heyday? You're about to find out. Coming in at number 7 is the cast of Friends. Back in 2002, the cast of Friends was rolling in the dough. Each starring cast member managed to negotiate a $1 million payday per episode in exchange for making millions of people around the world laugh until their stomachs hurt. You have to admire their negotiation tactics and strategy. It was pretty simple. The 6 stars collectively demanded to be paid the same and threatened to walk away if their demands weren't met. Because the show's ratings were absolutely bonkers, averaging 24.7 million viewers per week, network executive caved to their demands. Adjusted for inflation, each Friends star was paid $1,890,978 per episode. Coming in at number 6 is Mad About You stars Paul Reiser and Helen Hunt. For some people, asking for a pay raise can be an awkward and uncomfortable task. Asking for an extra $750,000, however, is an entirely different animal. Somehow, Reiser and Hunt mustered the courage to ask for the pay raise, and they got it. Apparently, having an Oscar-winning actor in the cast aids in the negotiation process. Hunt took home an Oscar for her role as Carol Connolly in a film as good as it gets. According to Mad About You insiders, NBC and Columbia TriStar agreed to the raise just hours before Hunt won the Oscar. So what was Reiser and Hunt's total take-home per episode? A cool $1,967,400 $362 per episode. Absolutely incredible. So stay tuned and don't go away, because we're revealing the wildest salaries of TV's biggest stars. Next up, can you guess which TV star was one of the highest paid in the entire world? Let's find out. Coming in at number 5 is Jerry Seinfeld. Seinfeld's take-home per episode pay was so ridiculous, we'll just come right out and say it. $2,364,862 per episode. Not bad for a show about nothing, right? That means Seinfeld's weekly paycheck for shooting 5 episodes was in excess of $11 million. Unlike the cast of Friends, however, Jerry's co-stars were only earning a mere $600,000 per episode. Seinfeld was offered over $100 million or $5 million per episode to produce one more season of the show after it ended in 1998, but he turned it down to enjoy life away from the limelight. When asked about his decision to turn down the massive cash injection, Jerry said simply, "It was the perfect moment to walk away, and proof that it was the right moment is the number of questions you're still asking me about it. The most important word in art is proportion. How much? How long is this joke going to be? How many words? How many minutes? And getting that right is what makes it art, or what makes it mediocre." Seinfeld's rationale for not returning to do an additional season makes perfect sense. When it's time to close the curtain, it's time to close the curtain. Seinfeld enjoyed a spectacular run, and Jerry knew that it was time for it to end. Up next, how much did one star earn for his work on the hit series Home Improvement? You're about to find out. Coming in at number 4 is Home Improvement star Tim Allen. As you can see from our previous example, being the star of a show pays huge dividends. Colorado native and comedian Tim Allen took family television to a whole new level with his hit sitcom Home Improvement, earning more than $2 million per episode. Allen also starred in Last Man Standing as Mike Baxter, a senior employee of a sporting goods store, and earned $235,000 per episode. Sure, it's not as good as his paycheck for playing Tim the Toolman Taylor, but I definitely wouldn't complain if I was making in excess of $200,000 per episode. Coming in at number 3 is Charlie Sheen. For his efforts on 2.5 Men, Sheen earned a whopping $2,706,087 per episode, money that surely fueled Sheen's risque extracurricular activities that we mentioned earlier. Warner Brothers Television terminated Sheen's contract after careful consideration in 2011, despite the fact that his contract was supposed to run until the end of the 2012 TV season. Because of Sheen's wild and controversial behavior, you always had this feeling that things just weren't going to end well. Sheen posted videos to social media of himself smoking cigarettes through his nostrils, routinely talked about his special tiger blood, and routinely bragged about doing massive amounts of I'm certainly not one to judge, but naturally, Sheen's closest friends and acquaintances did become concerned about his behavior and his hobbies. Finally, how much do you earn when you're a TV star that everybody loves? We're about to find out. Coming in at number 2 is Ray Romano. It's a widely held belief that Doris Roberts' Marie Barone is the best thing that ever happened to Everybody Loves Raymond, but it was the show's leading man, Ray, who was raking in the Benjamins. Romano signed a deal back in 2003 that gave him an $800,000 raise, bringing his total pay per episode to, get this, $3,034,316 per episode. Absolutely insane. Coming in at number 1, the highest paid American TV star ever, Kelsey Grammer. During his time as a psychologist, Fraser Crane was the highest paid man on TV, a title he holds to this day. NBC agreed to pay the actor more than $3 million per episode for the 2002 to 2003 seasons, and some will argue that it's far too excessive, but keep in mind that the cast did win a staggering 37 Emmys, which at the time was a record for scripted TV shows. The series also bagged an Emmy for Outstanding Comedy Series 5 years in a row. Grammer's total take-home per episode was $3,099,171.62 per episode. Does anybody else feel like writing a strongly worded letter to their high school guidance counselor? Current big money earners include Reese Witherspoon and Nicole Kidman. And after the wild success of HBO's Big Little Lies, both leading ladies received a well-deserved bump in pay. Witherspoon and Kidman made anywhere from $250,000 to $350,000 per episode during the first season, but that was bumped to $1 million per episode for season 2. On a separate note, there were rumors swirling that the cast of Game of Thrones, Emilia Clarke, Nikolai Coster-Waldau, Peter Dinklage, Kit Harington, and Lena Headey were going to be earning a jaw-dropping €2 million per episode during the last 2 seasons. But Liam Cunningham, who plays Davos, dispelled the rumors, saying, "You think Game of Thrones works like a pensionable job in the civil service, where the last man standing gets the most money? It doesn't." That's a wrap for today's video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to hit like, comment, and subscribe to our channel for more great videos.